One of my favorite video game series of all time is the Silent Hill series, known for its fantastic storytelling, psychological scares, terrifying creature designs, complex characters, and of course, the town of Silent Hill. Silent Hill Ascension, the newest entry in the series, has none of those things, including being a game at all. After over 10 years without a Silent Hill game, we finally have a new Silent Hill experience. And, Silent Hill Ascension is quite the experience. Just not in a good way. I'm the Otaku Artist, and today I'll be talking about the dumpster fire. That is, Silent Hill Ascension. So, to those who haven't played a Silent Hill game before, if you like horror at all, like horror games, horror movie, I highly recommend getting into the series, starting with Silent Hill 2, because it's one of, if not the best horror experiences in gaming. But please, I beg of you, do not start with Ascension. In fact, even if you are a Silent Hill fan, don't even bother with Ascension. For those who do not know, a few days ago on Halloween, this new Silent Hill experience was finally out. We've known about this project for a while, but all we kinda knew for the last few months is that it existed. There was little to no marketing done, and we didn't even know what it was. We were just told that it was a new Silent Hill experience, and that it would be available on a website and also a phone app. And that was it. And apparently, this little to no marketing with no information was done on purpose. But I'll talk about that later. So, just a few days ago on Halloween night, the experience started live. And we finally got to find out what we were waiting for. And oh my god, it was a dumpster fire. So, what is Silent Hill Ascension? Basically, it's kind of like an interactive show. It's basically cutscenes every night where audience members can vote to make decisions on what characters do. Kinda like a choose-your-own-adventure. There's quick time events as well, where the audience can fail or win these challenges. And what the votes do for the decisions and also the quick time events, it will impact the story. So your choices can determine if a character lives or dies, or what direction the story goes into. And honestly, a choose-your-own-adventure Silent Hill experience sounds pretty cool, right? Like, this idea sounds really cool. But the execution is just so fucking awful. Now, I do have to give credit to the idea. The idea is just great, but it turned out so poorly. Apparently, this is supposed to go on for a few months, and every night there's going to be a live stream on the website and also on the app, where everyone will watch a few cutscenes and make important decisions. Some decisions are throughout the live stream, and if you miss the live stream, you do have the opportunity to make a few decisions after it's over. It's basically an interactive show, like I said before. Now, the main draw of this is those choices that I mentioned before that cause events and changes who lives and dies is also supposed to change the real canon of Silent Hill. Like, this is going to impact the series forever. Now, how do you make a decision? Well, to make a decision and to vote on, like, if a character chooses an option or if they die or not, you gotta have points. Now, you can earn points for free by watching each episode each night and also playing little minigames on the website. That sounds cool and fair, right? Well, another way you can earn points is by buying them with real money. Yeah, it's a pay-to-win experience, just like all those cheap app games that everyone hates. And that means that anyone can rig the vote in their favor if they have enough money they're willing to spend on this. Now, that's not the only bad part about the voting. When you go to vote, it tells you which choices are good, neutral, or bad. So, like, why would anyone pick the bad option? Since this experience is supposed to change Silent Hill's real canon for the rest of the series, no one is going to choose the bad option. Now, another problem with it is it's not like everyone just gets one vote. You can vote as many times as you want. It just depends on how many points you have. Every vote costs 200 IP points, which is the currency. Now, let's say someone spent a lot of real life money and they racked up like 1,000,000 points. They could completely rig the system in their favor and just pick whatever option they want, which means they could guarantee us getting the good option, or if they're a troll, they could be like, nah, let's go with the bad option. And you might be like, well, can't you earn a lot of points for free? Well, I have about 3,000 points, right? Now, looking at the top votes, there is definitely people rigging the votes. Like, it shows with who the top players are, like who spent the most votes on a choice, and these people are like 20,000 or 35,000 IP spent on this choice. Now, this is not a polished nor fun experience, so there is no way that people are spending this much money to rig the vote like this. So this is definitely rigged by someone who worked on the project. Again, I will reiterate, I only have about 3,000 points to vote, and I watched every episode so far and did what I could in minigames that earn you more points. And these people are spending 35,000 points on a vote? By the way, speaking of those minigames, you only have access to like 2 minigames, unless you pay. The rest are behind a paywall. So like, if you want to get more points, you gotta pay money so you can have more minigames to do. Now, that's not the only thing you can spend real money on. You can also buy this Founders Pack for 20 bucks, which just gives you a lot of useless stuff. Like, it gives you some stickers, things like this, which, yeah, that totally screams Silent Hill. And also, like, you really want me to pay $20 for virtual hair? Like, it just comes off really scummy to want people to pay for votes. It just makes it completely unfair to the people who aren't gonna pay if someone just decides to rig the vote because they spent $30 on points. And if that happens, no one can compete, and just like that, one person changed the canon of Silent Hill forever. Now, you might be confused at why I was like, I'm paying for virtual hair. Like, that doesn't make any sense, so let me elaborate. So, in the Founders Pack, also known as the Season Packs, one of the items that comes with it is a different hairstyle. And that's because there's a create your own character part of the website. And the purpose of this is it acts as your avatar, and they're also doing little contests where your avatar can appear in episodes as a cameo in the future. That sounds kind of neat, right? Well, this is how they look. Yeah, it's bad. Like, real bad. Yes, this is a real screenshot. It's completely unedited. As you can see, it's like a PNG that's like laid on that character's head, not even correctly. Like, there's a lot of clipping. It's just so badly made. And the thing is, there's hardly any options for the character creator, and all the options are ugly. Like, seriously? 4 options for hair? 5 if you can't be bald? Just, you cannot create a character that looks like you. So, unless you're like some bald old man who's playing this game, like, if you really do want to make a character look like you, it's impossible. Like, again, I'm exaggerating. There's probably some options where you can make a character look like yourself. But like, for example, I have brown long hair. There's no option for that, so I have to pick blonde. And like, none of the faces look remotely like me. So let's say I would win that cameo contest and I get my avatar in the show. Doesn't matter because they don't look like me. Like, seriously, there's 10 times, 100 times more options for customization in free dress-up games from 2006, or Pick Crew. Literally, any one person can create a Pick Crew for free, and it's easy. And we got this, which is made by a team of people. Now, this isn't the only thing that has a lack of quality. I've mentioned it before, but let's get into talking about the show itself and where you can really see the quality dip. Not just from looking at the character creation, the show itself is also just not very well made. Now, from the trailer, it does not look that bad, but oh god, just watching it is horrible. It's like a very poorly animated GameCube or maybe Wii cutscene. And the lip syncing is just god-awful. I mean, just look at it.
Joy's death? You never did tell me what happened.
Joy died during a ceremony. It was just her and me, and then...
Rach!
We need to go to the Foundation. Now.
What? Why?
Go get Faith. I'll pack. Proof of keeping the truth from children. We can tell her a story from the scriptures. Xavier keeps copies in his library. Look, we don't have time to debate this. I just need you and Faith to do exactly what I say. It'll be better for everyone.
Leave you. Or Toby Sorelli, the town drunk.
Joy, please!
You got in a bit of trouble at school, I hear. Well, we'll stay out of trouble here, won't we?
He beat someone, huh? When I was his age, I used to bite kids at school too.
Okay, pause. Yeah, you heard that right. Just gonna casually mention that you used to bite kids too when you were a kid? I have to say, when I watched this part live, I bursted out laughing. Like, yep, they even had a thing on the screen where you could vote how one of the characters would react to the kid biting other kids at school. And I was laughing the whole time, man. This cannot be real. What is this writing?
Well, you see, Lilleven, Grandma... she died.
Am I going to die too?
Not for a very long time.
I don't think I want to.
Yeah, it's bad. Now, the thing is, I understand that this is a small team working on supposedly hundreds of small cutscenes for the show. And with that much content they have to put out, I could excuse the poorly animated cutscenes if the story, dialogue, and characters were actually good. But they are not. The pacing is horrible. The dialogue exchanges come off as AI generated, the story is boring and hard to follow, and the voice acting just straight up sounds like AI. Like, I tried looking into the voice actors online, but I couldn't find anyone credited. It's moments like this that make not only the voice acting, but just the whole thing come off as AI generated. Now, you might be like, but it's a small team. Well, let's go to another, smaller team. Let's go to ZTD. I'm someone who loved that game, which is just basically a giant cutscene of a game, kind of like this show. It's the third game in the No Nori game series, which is a series of visual novels with choice-based gameplay that affects the story, and escape rooms. Now, that had a great story and characters, and fun gameplay, even if the cutscenes and graphics looked like this. But even so, even though the graphics and animation were very poor, the amazing story, characters, and escape room gameplay made up for it. And the thing is, this was made by a team that didn't really have prior experience with animating cutscenes like this, so it made sense that it was not very well done. So, graphics are not the most important thing, but Silent Hill Ascension has absolutely no quality control. Like, literally, Silent Hill 1, that had a small, tiny team of people where all the cutscenes were animated by one guy. And that was made in 1999 and has way better cutscenes than this. So, the small team, even if they don't have that much experience, they could have gotten someone who could make better cutscenes. Just everything, I've seen better, shows on YouTube made by one person that has, computer animated graphics. Just everything is so poorly made. So for a dead series to rise from the dead after 10 years just for this? It's just poorly done cutscenes with uninteresting characters, bad writing, and it just is in poor taste trying to get people to spend money on votes that not only can just rig the whole system and the whole point of this project, it also is changing the canon of Silent Hill. Now, let's get more into that story now that I mentioned. The story at the moment does not really have any clear direction. It's very difficult to understand what's going on. But the one thing we do know, which at first seemed very, very bad, but kind of turned out to be a blessing in disguise, is that the story doesn't even take place in Silent Hill. Yeah, the whole point of the series? And the reason why I say a blessing in disguise is because imagine if this did take place in Silent Hill. Yeah, that would be really bad because that would change the canon of Silent Hill for the worst. But this taking place out of Silent Hill means it's not really going to affect the canon of Silent Hill, really. So that's good. But let's look at it on the viewpoint that this is supposed to be a Silent Hill experience. It's called Silent Hill Ascension, not random town in Pennsylvania or Norway Ascension, and I'm serious with that. It just takes place in Pennsylvania and in Norway. It has nothing to do with the town of Silent Hill. Now the thing is, there is a Silent Hill game that does not take place in Silent Hill. It's Silent Hill 4. However, the story and characters is still connected to Silent Hill. It still has to do with the town and characters of Silent Hill. So that works. This is just two random unrelated places. Now, at the moment of recording this, there are only two similarities between Silent Hill and Ascension. Everything else, the characters and story, and just everything on the website has nothing to do with Silent Hill. The only similarities is that there's enemies from Silent Hill that just kind of randomly appear in the story for no good reason, and the other world randomly appearing, which for those who haven't played Silent Hill, it's kind of like a demonic, evil version of the Silent Hill town, that you kind of go back and forth the main town and the demon realm, so to speak, to solve puzzles and when stuff happens in the story. So why is it a problem that those two things appear? Well, both of those things make no sense in the context of the story. It also makes no sense for these creatures to appear outside of the town of Silent Hill, since the town is supernatural. It's supposed to draw people in and mess with people's inner traumas. There is a reason why the town is supernatural, which is explained in Silent Hill 1 and 3, so the enemies really should not appear outside the town. It only makes sense for people to go to the town and then see those enemies that reflect their inner trauma. So it doesn't make sense for a lady in her kitchen in Norway to just look outside the window and see a zombie dog running by. It doesn't make any sense. Besides the enemies, another thing that appears that doesn't belong here is the Otherworld. And it makes no sense for the Otherworld to appear outside of Silent Hill because it's like another version of Silent Hill. Like in the games, if you walk into a hospital in Silent Hill, there's a point where that hospital will turn into a rusty, evil version of itself. There's no reason for a guy to be just chilling in his house and then suddenly he's in a demonic hospital. There's no reason to it to randomly appear in like fucking Norway or Pennsylvania. So, with that all aside, you've heard me rant for like 20 minutes now on how terrible this show is. But that's just me, that's one person. What did everyone else think? How was the reception on that first day? Well...
Omae no shiwaza doto naka.
Yeah, no one liked it. And on the website/app, when these live stream shows were going on, in the chat there was no filtering. So people could just say slurs and just weird stuff like this. So yeah, everyone hated it so much. I have not seen a single person express that they loved it. Because of the chat having no moderation and everyone in chat just saying how much they hated it, chat actually was disabled for day 2. Now this could have all been avoided if there was proper moderation. So, speaking of day 2, how did that go? Well, this episode was a lot shorter than the first one, only being like about 5 or so minutes long. And no surprise, just like the first episode, it was very poorly paced, written, and animated. Now we know how the fans reacted to this mess of a show, but how about the team behind it? This is when I want to bring up Jacob Nabuk, and apologies if I mispronounced that last name. He's apparently the CEO of the company that created Ascension, and after day 2's episode premiered, there was a post-show. In this post-show, Jacob and another guy was with him, and let's just say Jacob was not happy when he saw how much everyone hated it day 1.
Let me start with the intent behind the monetization scheme. You can't go and co-stream a Netflix series. They'll give you a takedown notice, right? They make their money off of those subscriptions. That's not what we're trying to do here. Again, the intent from everything was make the things that you can watch as free as possible. That's never been done in this industry. What was the most innocuous, easy to do monetization scheme that...
Alright, pause. I just want to point out that he keeps on calling it a monetization scheme. Let's look up the definition of a scheme real quick. To make plans, especially in a devious way or with intent to do something illegal or wrong. I also want to point out Eduardo's reactions. Just Eduardo's reactions throughout this whole thing are such a gem. He knows what's up. He knows what's up.
And the intent behind the point system was you're going to be able to generate a significant number of influence points each day. But what's going to happen really quickly, and this is what people don't understand about the economy yet, is we're going to get into the hundreds of videos. And so you're going to have a massive amount of points. You're going to have tens of thousands into the hundreds of thousands of points that you're just getting free by clicking on a video. You can click out of it after 1 second, you'll still generate those points. And so the economy is scaled to massive free inflation. And you're not seeing that yet because we're in day 1. We're going to have so many points available that it's going to lead to a very big economic inflation, and all of that free, all of those free influence points. And that gets to the point about using those points to sway decisions. Like, well, if somebody buys millions of points and sways a decision, you can look at the leaderboards right now. You're going to see that the top, bids on most of these things are in the 6,000 to 7,000, 10,000 point range. nobody's buying millions of points. That wasn't the intent behind the design. You can't even get to that easily. Like, you'd have to sit there and spam the purchase. The reason we put tiny packs is, like, if my goal was to make, people buy 1 million points, I would have had $1 million point pack and made it super easy for them to do that. That's not the way that it's designed whatsoever. It's designed to mostly be there if you were busy that week and you didn't have the time to log in, that you could quickly catch up. And it's an experiment. You're not going to be able to change an entire decision with 20,000 points when the decisions are like 37 million on one thing and 15 million on another and 10 million on another. It's not the way it was designed. It's just not. And again, you can see that very clearly in the leaderboards. When you start to see people with leaderboard rankings at 1 or 2 million points, dollars to donuts, those people are cheaters, and we've got to figure out how they cheated in our system. They're not doing purchases. And if they do, we will rate limit them on the purchases. We're not going to permit it. That wasn't the goal of the product, right? The goal of the product and goal of the monetization system was make things as freely accessible as possible for a massive show.
Thank you very much for those explanations.
And again, if I wanted to just make money, I would have sold a $60 package disc.
Now, these are just a few clips of him going on about the monetization system, but he's like going hard on trying to defend it. He's trying so hard. He sounds like he's gonna cry. And it's really funny seeing Eduardo almost laughing when he's trying so hard to defend this monetization system. And the thing is, like, he's not being professional at all in his response. He's completely letting his emotions getting away. And I totally get it. It's frustrating when you work on a project and everyone's first reaction is extremely negative. But the professional way to handle this is say, hey, sorry, we're going to listen to your feedback and we're going to make some changes. We realize that you guys really don't like this, so we're going to change it. But instead, he's just defending it over and over and over again.
We're still a very young company. We are still learning. Most of the people who worked on this project were only doing DLC projects before, like fixed price package. We don't have deep experience in monetization. We are not great at it yet. We admit this. We will improve and fix it. But again, like the idea that we're here to scam or be scummy is just absurd. There is not a single conversation ever inside the company where it's like, how can we do as much as possible as grab money from people? Never. You can search our entire Slack records, you can search all of our different conversations. You can prove to that yourself, Eduardo. We never did that. And it's never been a discussion with any of our partners.
Another thing is, he goes on to say, like, oh, we're a really small company. Well, the thing is, Team Silent, like, the team that worked on the first Silent Hill game, that was extremely small. There's only a couple people. And they made a masterpiece. And they didn't have, like, all the experience in the world. So, just take this in stride. Take this in, oh, well, we can learn from this. We can grow from this, instead of reacting so badly. But that's all the footage I'm going to show from that interview. There's so many fun gems out of that. Another thing that I didn't get a chance to show because it would have gone on for too long is at one point he got kind of mad at the audience because we picked the good options, and he was like blaming the audience and saying to pick something interesting and not boring. And I just want to say, like, imagine if fucking on Survivor everyone was like, let's vote out this person, and Jeff was like, nah, pick something more interesting, pick that guy, yeah, kick him off. Like, seriously, that's what he does. If you guys want to see the full post-show, link is in the description. It's on Jacob's Twitter, and then there's a few recordings of this on YouTube, but mostly have a lot of commentary from live streamers. But this was the best version of the post-show I could find, unfortunately. Now, remember how I mentioned that this show had, like, no marketing and was not explained what exactly this project was for months? Being done on purpose? Well, Jacob confirmed it. He said on Twitter in a thread, and I quote, "You may be asking, How do I participate in a decision? What kind of puzzles are you talking about? I get it, you want to know every detail. I made an intentional call to not explain everything in advance. I want people to come into the experience fresh. Gamers are used to long, drawn-out marketing campaigns with bumps on every single feature in a product. Publishers spend years trying to convince you to purchase a $70 disc. Don't need it here. Silent Hill Ascension is free to watch and to participate in any decision. Just come and join. Now, that's just not a good idea at all. If you want people to join in, even if it's free, you've got to market it. Like, if you post a YouTube video or doing a live stream on Twitch, that's free, and you want to market that on social media so people know that you're live and they can join. Now, what I think the real reason why everything was hidden away on purpose is because if fans knew what this was months in advance and saw how badly made it was, no one would have shown up to the premiere and everyone would have been begging it to be canned before it was released. And now that it is released, people are begging for it to be cancelled. And honestly, I agree. This is doing more harm than good. I mean, honestly, not even any good. Just all harm. There's nothing good coming from this. It's making the revival of Silent Hill nearly impossible to pull off, because old fans are going to be turned off and give up on the series, and people who have never played Silent Hill are going to see this and be like, this is Silent Hill? Never mind, I'm not interested. I wouldn't be surprised if this hurts the sales of the upcoming Silent Hill 2 remake. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if this hurts the sales of the upcoming Silent Hill 2 remake. It's just so sad seeing this unfold. It's frustrating and infuriating to fans like me who are just passionate about my love for the series. Now, to Jacob, or anyone who is on the team, I really highly doubt it, but if you are somehow watching this, please just consider canning the product for now. Rework it and come back in a few months or a year. Just take all the time you need to polish it. Listen to us Silent Hill fans, please. I understand that it can be saddening to hear that a project you worked on turned out to be so badly received. But instead of getting mad at us fans, just try to grow from this and turn this project into something amazing. The potential is there, the idea is fantastic. It just needs more work. Can it for now and come back in a year with a different story and better production value. Just research why Silent Hill is so special to us. There's a reason why people say the first 3 or 4 games are the best. And it's because Silent Hill really shines when it's not in your face scares with strong, psychological based horror. Realize why the monsters of Silent Hill are so scary. Not just because they're chasing you, it's because of the characters behind it. How the reason behind the enemies' appearances are so thought-provoking. Because of the trauma that these characters have to face within themselves in the story of the games. There's a billion Silent Hill videos out there about Silent Hill 2 and other Silent Hill games that go on for hours and hours about why the series is so scary and has such great storytelling and makes you think even after you beat the games. So just look into what fans love about the series and use that as a starting point for improving the project. So, to those who aren't Silent Hill fans who watch, please go play a real Silent Hill experience. Start with 2, then 3, and then the other games in the series. I recommend the first 4, those are definitely the best. And those who are watching who are Silent Hill fans, what do you guys think of Ascension? I pretty much expect you all to hate it, considering how I've never found a single person say they like it, but still, comment below your thoughts, and I want to know on what points I was talking about in the video that you guys agree with or disagree with. So anyway, thanks for watching me ramble on about this. I'm still gonna watch Ascension each night, not because I'm enjoying the show, but honestly because I'm worried it's gonna change the canon of Silent Hill for the worse. I'm gonna go play a real Silent Hill game after this horrible experience, so I'll see you all next time. I'm the Otaku Artist, and hopefully I'll see you guys in a video that's not me rambling about a dead series being ruined even more. See you all next time. Bye!